Good morning, everyone. It's Coach Ace, and we're here to discuss some things about the last two chapters that we did over spring break, just to catch you up. And so you have a document that I'm going to put on the website, and I'm also going to hand to you to go along with this part of the video, and it's called the major factors that lead or led to the Great Depression. I am going to look at five major issues and then like the catalyst or the immediate cause, the straw that breaks the camel's back. All right, so first let's go into the drop in farm prices. Now, the one thing that you have to understand is that we had the roaring 20s in our last video, the one that Daniel and I did, and we were talking about all of these people supposedly living these wonderful lives in the 1920s, all the prosperity. Well, that is a little bit of a fit. What I mean by that is that the vast majority of Americans were poor or middle class or lower middle class, and the vast majority of these people were also farmers, right? So what ends up happening is that you had a situation where when farm prices begin to drop, that means the farmers, the producers, are not making enough money. All right, and it begins a domino effect that affects all other factors of society and of the economy. So again, there's a big drop in farm prices. Farmers are not making money. People are not saying, I want $7,000 for that ton of bananas. I only want $5,000 for that ton of bananas. And in fact, in our book, we in our reading, we saw something where farm prices and farm production, as far as making money, dropped by almost 50%. Okay, so factor one, farm prices drop, and that's a harbinger of bad news. All right, so now we go to number two, massively uneven distribution of income. Now, let's talk about that. Massive, of course, being huge, and even being meaning that they're not balanced to each other. Now, what ends up happening is that we do talk about the Roaring Twenties as this time of everyone being having all this money. But in what, a minute and a half ago, I just said that no, that isn't true. We don't have a situation where everyone has money. Well, because not everyone has money and not everyone is rich, that's not a big problem. The big problem is that there are only a few rich people, and there are only a few people who can afford all these products. So as we go farther, we hear of these companies making all these products. Well, literally, no one can really afford it. That's like having $100 in our classroom with the 25 of you students in that classroom, and one student having 99 of those dollars. There will be no circulation of funds throughout the economy. The economy will become stagnant. There has to be a better distribution of wealth. And I know you're saying, but Aaron, that is what's happening in our society today with the one percenters and that whole process. Yes, there is a pretty uneven distribution in our society today, but the Great Depression was exponentially more. All right, so again, number two, massively uneven distribution of wealth. The rich kept getting richer and the poor kept getting poorer, and it was just a big gulf between the two. It doesn't work well. Now, this is something number three. This is something that you guys might like. This is something that you like. You might be good with. I know a lot of you went on trips during spring break, so I know you didn't watch a lot of afternoon TV. But for me, I worked out. I hung out at the house a lot, and you wake up and after a nap and you're watching afternoon TV, and they have all these get rich quick schemes, right? Make money doing this, make money doing that, invent this and do that, right? Well, another big reason for the stock market crash is get rich quick schemes, and so people were buying everything on credit. And people were also speculating in the stock market on stocks that really weren't stable. And so you had unscrupulous or individuals who did not play by the rules in the stock market, selling stocks two and three times to two and three different groups of people. So that was one thing. So on the stock market side, the actual individuals who own the stocks, who are playing in stocks, just being shady and dirty. Seriously. So it was just really, there was like the wild, wild west. And you will see some of the things that FDR does to fix that, with like the Securities Exchange Commission and things like that. But there were almost no rules to the stock market. And so that's a part of it. Also, on the consumer side, on the buyer side, buyers didn't have the money, and they were attempting to cheat, or they thought, a lot of people thought in good faith that they would be able to make the money back. And so they would buy stocks on what they call margin. And when you buy stocks on margin, you don't pay for the whole thing. You pay for 10%, and you pretty much say, I'll pay you back later. Well, when these stocks start going down, individuals end up not paying the market back, or the stocks became worthless, whatever the deal is. And so again, there's a stagnation of money. People are losing money and losing faith in the stock market. And of course, that's part of the reason why the market crashes, because what you're doing is like a game of Jenga. You're taking things out from the bottom when you play, loose and fast with the stock market. So remember, it's really a situation of people buying on margin and not paying back their stocks, and people are just getting gigantic losses, right? So that's number 3. Number 4, overextension of credit. And that's a lot of what happened in our last recession, 2008, 2009, that whole thing. The housing bubble burst, they say. Well, what was happening is that people were getting credit at very liberal rates, very easy rates, and these individuals could not afford it. And so houses were cheaper than they were supposed to be. Everybody thought that was great. The construction workers are building houses, the real estate agents are getting rich, everything's going. And then, boom, the brakes are put on, because you have to pay your bills back. If you overextend credit and give it to just any Yahoo out there, or any person who thinks they can pay but they can't pay it, then you have a major issue. So bills, again, we're not getting paid back. So not only the stock market shady, then the real estate market and the credit market for not just housing, but the credit market for all kinds of stuff. People were buying toasters on credit. People were buying, and that was a big appliance back then. So I'm not saying it like this to be a jerk about it, but vacuum cleaners, washing machines and things of that nature, hot water heaters, all this automatic stuff. Recall that the 1920s becomes pretty much the first automatic decade where you can get things done for you in your home. Washing machines, dishwashing machines, dryers, automatic this, electronic that, right? And you wanted to do all those stuff because you wanted to keep up with everybody else and how everybody else is spending, right? We talk about that superficial prosperity. Well, now when it's time to actually pay the bills, there's no money. And so who gets hurt when credit doesn't get paid? Everybody. Because the bank gave you credit, right? Or gave you a loan, or the credit card company gave you a loan, and they expect you to pay it back, right? But you don't pay it back. Well, the bank is using other people's money to invest in you and other people, so then they don't have money to invest in somebody else's ideas. It's this gigantic circle. So it's an overextension of credit to the wrong people at the wrong time, all right? Then let's talk about the increased inventories of goods. In the 1920s, everybody thought it would go on forever. You ever walk into a party and you're like, party time, party, you're having such a great time, and you feel that level of energy will last forever. And, it's midnight and you're, okay, look, I had enough, I'm tired, I want to go home, right? That's how it is. Everybody thought the party would never end. Or you ever walk into a workout, you have energy for days, and after 15 minutes, you're like, if I keep this pace, I might die, right? Well, that's how manufacturers were. They felt that all these people who were buying all their goods on credit and living the superficial prosperity type of life were going to always buy their stuff up. But it didn't work that way. And now you have stockpiles, warehouses full of products that are not being bought. And that hurts a lot of producers, because a lot of producers don't own their own warehouse. So they have to pay rent on that warehouse. And now they not only have a whole bunch of quote-unquote junk or crap no one wants, but now they have to pay to keep it stored up. And even if they wanted to get destroyed, they have to pay to destroy it. It just becomes this huge, again, it's this cycle thing that keeps happening. It's a cycle of cycles. And so make sure you understand that number 5 is increased inventories of goods. And there's just too much out there. And also that brings down prices. So we had number 1, farm prices, food prices went down, produce prices went down, and that hurt the farmer. You have too much, you're producing too much on the manufacturer side, and that brings prices down too. So now you're in a big spot. Number 6, man, we're going to talk about the immediate cause of stock market crash of 1929. And the U.S. economy did not really collapse immediately, right? So what I want you to understand is that they call it the stock market crash or stock market collapse. but it is the beginning of the end. Okay, it is the stock market crash signals the fact that the United States economy is unstable and the people, you know, the market itself, because we go by laissez-faire, we go by capitalism, whatever. The market itself doesn't trust itself, and that's why people then start doing what? Removing all their stocks out and trying to liquidate their funds before they lose more and more money. So the stocks just keep going down and down and down. I think one major stat that we want to look at for that is on the October 29th, 1929, they call it Black Tuesday, whatever it was. The stock market crashed, man, and you lost $30 billion in that one day. That's about half of what the United States paid to fight World War One, just 10 to 12 years previously. And so, again, it's a major deal. So again, we're gonna look at 6 facets. Let's do this again. Number 1, drop in foreign prices. Our number 2 reason, I'm getting old. I almost forgot it. Number 1, drop in stock prices. Number 1, drop in foreign prices. Number 2, massively uneven distribution of income. Number 3, a bunch of get-rich-quick schemes. Number 4, overextension of credit. Number 5, increased inventories of goods, too much manufacturing. And number 6, the media cost, the stock market crash, October 1929. All right, thanks for spending about 11 minutes and 47 seconds with me. Peace out.